just gonna wait for several people to come in as we're about to be live, or actually we're live. Welcome to something I like to call PCSRA review, as we're going to discuss and review the 2019 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix real life. I'll talk more about this on the PCSRA weekly show, the finale, coming up on Tuesday. Where do we begin? Where do I begin with this review? Of course, yes, you're looking at Yas Island. That is where the PCSRA will be going there in next year for the Icebreaker Series for the 2 races, which I'll explain all that in a separate video. But yeah, the main business is just me giving you guys a review of all the races. Like before the race, during the race, after the race, and then previewing giving you my thoughts of the season. So, yeah. Let's begin with the race weekend. Of course, Valtteri Bottas had an engine penalty because his motor in Brazil went kaboom because of the fact that it had a lot of mileage on it. So his motor went kaboom. He had to change another motor at the beginning of the weekend, or during the weekend. And he ended up, and of course he had to take an engine penalty because it didn't matter where he started. He was going to start plumb last anyway, in that respect. And then a couple of other things that also happened during the race weekend. We didn't know what the tires were going to be because the compounds were C3, C4, C5. C5 was the soft, C4 the medium, C3 the hard tire. And we didn't know what it was going to do. Haas had a good car, got taken out by Bottas down there at the second straightaway, right down there if you're looking at the picture of the track from, I got this from Google, so, got turned, broke the upgrade package, and Haas, what once was a good weekend, turned into a nightmare, like real quickly. So, you know, it was really kind of something to expect in that regard, but you know, there was nothing Haas could have done except have to live with it. So that was a couple of news going into the weekend, and let's get right into what really happened. Start of the race, everybody was just taking it easy. There was some contact in turn 1, as it always is in Abu Dhabi. I don't know why, but for some reason we can't get through the first lap without drama. Pierre Gasly got into the back of one of the racing points, which was Lance Stroll. He gets, he has to limp, because it happened in turn 1. He had to go the entire track to get back to the pit lane to get a brand new wing and change his strategy. And from there, it's just collision after collision. It was like a collision fest, if you ask me. I mean, yeah, the racing was okay. I mean, it was... I saw the highlights because I was asleep, because I didn't watch... because I'm too lazy to get up out of bed at like 7 o'clock to watch the F1 race. But anyway, it was pretty much something you normally didn't expect as far as that, and Lewis Hamilton led from start to finish, and he ended up taking home the winner's trophy, which was great. Second place was not a Mercedes. Second place was Max Verstappen, to my surprise. I mean, Max drove a competitive race. He really felt like it was a fantastic job he did, and he really kept his composure. And a lot of people were just surprised of how he did. So he ended up getting second in the race. Charles Leclerc came home third. He was asked to see the stewards because of a fuel regulation that was illegal on his SF90, which is something you didn't expect. I really just didn't feel like excited for him, but oh well, it is what it is. So, I mean, just not the weekend he was hoping for, if you ask me. Seb got screwed big time. What happened was Ferrari double stacked the tires on the first pit stop. Why, I don't know. And it left scratching my head going, why would you double stack your tires? As far as that's concerned, I really don't get it. But, which ended up getting fined like €50,000, which is $55,000 US. So, that's kind of typical, if you know what I mean. So, Max Verstappen had a throttle issue, so that's really something disappointing, if you know what I mean. So, as this thing needs to go away. Only car out of the race was Lance Stroll. Apparently, there was a mechanical failure on the Racing Point. He finished out of the race, but other than that, that was just pretty much about it. So the full field rundown, and I'll explain more on the weekly show. Or actually, this could be like the weekly show. So, here's the results: Lewis Hamilton, the winner; Max Verstappen, second; Charles Leclerc, third; Lando Norris, 8th, Danny Kvyat, 9th, Carlos Sainz Jr., 10th. 11th was Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg, 12th, Kimi Räikkönen, 13th, Kevin Magnussen, 14th, Roman Grosjean, 15th. Haas was definitely ready to put this season behind them. Benazzi, 16th, George Russell, 17th, Pierre Gasly, 18th, Robert Kubica, 19th, and Lance Stroll completes the field in P20. Yas Marina has been fantastic, because, we've now raced there for now a decade, because the first race was 2009. We've seen a lot of dramas, from Nico Rosberg going over the top of Narain Karthikeyan, going into that right-hander. You see that right-hander right before he gets to the hotel. That's where he collided in I want to say either 2012 or 2013. I think it was 2013. It was also the first year Lewis Hamilton left McLaren to go to the Mercedes-AMG Petronas. So, it was kind of one of those races you expected. So, of course, Abu Dhabi, it's dry like it is always, which, it's almost like Bahrain, and Qatar, where it's always a dry race, and you have to use at least two dry compounds to comply with the regulations. And Abu Dhabi, technically, the tires don't wear out, because, the surface has been worn for now, a decade? It's sometimes, Abu Dhabi, Yas Marina is like, it either wows you or it comes one of the dual races. Last year we had rain that could have played a huge factor, and it could have shook up everything, if you know what I mean. It was one of those crazy races, if you ask me. But, Yas Marina deserves to be the finale. I mean, this is the only track that starts in the day, ends at night. And the great thing is, if you look at the hotel on the track map on the photo that you're watching the stream, the hotel lights change colors. It changes colors, go from purple to blue to red. You know what I mean. and it's one of the greatest tracks. It probably is, and this might be the track I may be going to next year as far as possibly being a part of esports, because the cool thing is you have a swimming pool on the hotel. It's a pretty cool track to go to. I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah, and some people are like, Voiles, it's in the Middle East. I understand it's in the Middle East. I understand it's in the United Arab Emirates, but it's a pretty cool track as far as that's concerned. So if I had to do this, if I had to rate this race on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being horrible and 10 being, oh my god, it's fanatic, I'm going to say a 7, because yes, this track has seen some very good, wacky things that we've had in this decade. It sometimes could also be dull. It sometimes, I know some people are going to be like, yay, I'm happy you said it's a good race. Not all the time will I rate an F1 review that it's going to be a good race. Now, if it's going to be a good race, like attrition, then yeah, I could have rated higher. But 7, because we didn't know what the tires were going to be. Ferrari's only good on the straight line. Mercedes handles very well in the corners. And Red Bull is kind of like stuck in the middle. It's just one of those races that I think, could have been better, could have been an 8, but it is what it is. But hey, I'm not complaining as far as that's concerned. So, yeah. And for now on, I'm going to start doing more race reviews, depending on what's going to happen with this Copa deal. But this is a race review, because I don't know how old my audience is as far as this channel. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this race review. I know it's going to be short, but at least I'm just giving you details on it. I mean, in a couple of days, the teams haven't left, because in a couple of days from now, all the new people like Nicholas Latifi, Esteban Ocon, they're going to be starting to test to prepare for the 2020 season, which is going to be an extra race on the calendar, with the addition of Vietnam, the return of the Netherlands, which I think is going to be great. Max Verstappen finally gets a home race for once. It should be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be a really interesting season, because now instead of Monaco being race 6, it's now race 7. So that means it'll be the first race with the brand new gearbox, the brand new power unit, this and that, yada yada yada, and all that. So, yeah. This season, if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm also going to rate it as 7. Yeah, there was some, Lewis Hamilton won 11 races out of 21, but there were some big shockers. Max Verstappen winning Brazil. Nobody saw that one coming. Also, Max Verstappen beating Charles Leclerc in Austria. It was going to be... There's been some good finishes in this deal. Austria was a fantastic race. Germany was a crazy race with all the rain and strategy. And we all thought Mercedes was going to win. Nope. Max Verstappen came out of nowhere. Germany was actually one of my best races of the season. Spa, of course, the death of the death of Anthony Hubert, the death, it really crushed us. But happy to see Charles Leclerc finally get his first win. Should have won in Bahrain, but the power unit went like that. Spa and Monza, Ferrari, we knew they were going to dominate that race. But I didn't expect Ferrari to win Singapore with Seb, because Singapore was a track that was not going to be good for Ferrari. They had to look at the nose. and see what kind of changes. And shockingly, a Ferrari 1-2, which the only 1-2 they got this whole season. So, yeah. I mean, Mercedes, 6-time champion Lewis Hamilton, another 6 constructors title for Mercedes AMG Petronas. That's kind of how, because Mercedes has finally gotten together in this turbo hybrid era, as far as that's concerned. Let me go to my surprise teams and my surprise team and my disappointment. Let's start with the surprise. The surprise team, if you exclude the big 3, which is Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull. My surprise team, McLaren. They got it together. I mean, I didn't expect going into the season that Carlos Sainz, I was thinking, oh, McLaren's going to probably go like that. McLaren being the best of the rest, that's a big deal for that team. I mean, Alonso, hi Great Lakes, Alonso couldn't get the car to go well. I mean, I didn't know what to expect with Sainz. I didn't know what to expect with Lando Norris, because Lando Norris was a rookie. So both of them really did a great job this year, and for them to finish 4th in the constructors, that's a great sign, if you know what I mean. Oh, it's okay, dude. Yeah, it's okay. Well, we understand the technical difficulties, but you know what I mean. Anyway, my disappointment team, if I had a disappointed team that I want to say, I gotta say Haas F1, because this is the first time ever since they joined F1 3 years ago where they had a struggling season, Now, some people can say it wasn't the driver's fault. The car was not where they wanted to be. Of course, they had a lot of drama with Rich Energy during the whole season, so it was kind of like what happened to Tanner Berryhill in the race weekend. So just that's where I see is my take on that. So Haas was very disappointed, if you know. Now, who was the big surprise? Well, considering we had several rookies, we had Lando Norris, Alex Albon, George Russell, who won the F2 championship. Windows decided to screw you over an NR2 on 3 race. GG. Says Windows NR2 on 3 doesn't screw you. That's pretty much crazy. But anyway, with George Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, even though he ran 2 races before this season, Lando Norris, and Alex Albon. Who surprised me? Based on what I've seen, I'm going to say Lando Norris. Honorary driver, I'll go Alex Albon. I really think Albon is really knowing how to develop the car right. And I think next year, what? But oh, I thought she was talking to me. But anyway, I think Albon and Red Bull will have a pretty much better season as far as that's concerned. So, yeah, it's been a great race season. Hopefully you guys can join us for the final episode of the PCSRA Weekly Show, and hopefully with rumors of YouTube going back to a general audience, which if that is the case, this could save a lot of channels. So we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed on that. And yeah, that's a lot. Thanks for following along. Thanks for watching this amazing short stream that I'm doing. And we will talk to you hopefully on Tuesday for the PCSRA Weekly Show. But for now, from the amazing Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates of Yas Marina Circuit on the Yas Island, that's your lot. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.